And we're back with another movie review. This is another straight to VOD horror film, and this one is called Mother May I. When Anya starts behaving like her fiance's recently deceased mother, Emmett must confront his deepest traumas to free his fiance from this bewildering possession. So we have Mother May I. I watched the trailer and I was like, this looks pretty interesting. It has a pretty high score on Rotten Tomatoes. And again, Rotten Tomatoes isn't everything, but it is a metric that a lot of moviegoers use to determine whether or not a movie is good. And I got fooled. I don't know what people see in this film. Actually, let me scratch that. I know what people see in this film, and I know what kind of audience this movie is targeting. And it ain't me. First, let's talk about some of the stuff that I actually liked about this film. I thought the pacing was really fast. And I think that in horror films particularly, I think you gotta have the pacing, pretty ramped up so we can just get to the horror, get to the scariness, get to the whatever your goal is in the film. Let's get to it fast in the horror film. And in this case, it's a psychological thriller, so we want to get to the psychological madness as quick as possible. It may feel a little bit fast at times, and it does come to a screeching halt during the third act, which we will get to. Overall, I like when movies, horror films in general, have a quicker pace. So this was a pleasant surprise. Also, I think the two leads in the film did an excellent job. I'm not going to try to pronounce their names because I'm terrible at names, but Kyle and Holland. I know them on a first name basis. They do an excellent job, particularly the person that is playing Anya. She does a crazy transformation and turning into Emmett's mother, and I really like how far and extreme that she went with this transformation. I mean, she's going to the T, to the way the movements of the mother, the hairstyle, the makeup, the way that she talks, the way that she, writes stuff. It's pretty creepy and eerie. It's such a great performance. And that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about this film is, just her performance and just the transformation and Emmett's, trying to tackle this whole labyrinth of his mind, his past trauma, and then seeing his fiance slowly turn into his mother, his recently deceased mother. I was thinking maybe that this film might be a sleeper hit, might be a sleeper in 2023, but then the third act happened. Wow. Way to pull some Game of Thrones season 8 shit. Up to the third act. Up until that point of the third act, when it happens, this movie is doing a great job of setting up the tension, building the craziness, building our expectations of the eventual outcome, what is going to happen. What is this whole thing with, Anya turning into Emmett's mother? What is the backstory between Emmett and his mother? What's going on here? And then the third act happens. And then I feel like, the writers they got their stuff cut. The writers were like, okay, this is really interesting. We got this. And then the executive came in and was like, you want to have something that makes sense at the end? Nah, cut that crap. We're going to go full crazy because the audience wants craziness. The ending of this film makes no sense. And I know this is a psychological thriller, so no, people smarter than me and more hoity-toity than me will probably enjoy this aspect of this film. The third act is probably their favorite part, and judging by the score on Rotten Tomatoes, I think that is the case. This is a movie that's going to be, favored towards that kind of audience, towards that kind of people, the people that are like, A24, everything is good. And trust me, I like A24, but I like more of the chill A24 stuff. The everything everywhere all at once. The X's and all that stuff. That kind of stuff, the more accessible A24 stuff. But this is like full indie, psychological horror that the people are going to be like, this is the greatest thing ever. And common people, common folk, no knock on it, I'm a common folk as well, are gonna just look at this and like, man, I just want to see if there's any slashers or some monsters or something like that. But no, we just get a crazy third act that makes everything more convoluted and messy than it already was, and not in a good way. Ultimately, guys, I think that Mother May I is a movie that is similar to Game of Thrones Season 8. I said it before, I'll say it again. You can really mess up something great if the ending is shit. I'm still salty about Game of Thrones. Still salty. Even with great performances by our leads, this film suffers from the third act being so convoluted and so messy, and having no answers really solved in the third act, just more questions. And some people might like that aspect of the film. Like I said, this isn't catered towards me. It is catered towards a specific group of people, a specific group of horror fans. And if you are that person, you probably are going to be jumping at the fact that this movie came out and you want to go see it. But of course, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you seen this movie? Do you want to watch this movie? Are you that audience that I've been talking about? Are you the target audience for this film? Do you like psychological horrors that make you think and make you want to, get a cigar and just puff away and think about life and the stuff? But as always, guys, don't forget to check out my Twitter so you can stay up to date with my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my Letterboxd. I'll be doing a whole bunch of reviews on there, and that's more catered towards, movie-centric stuff. So it's not going to be any other stuff on there other than movies. And thank you guys for almost getting us to 2,000 subscribers. Pretty crazy. I can't wait for it. But as always, guys, keep watching movies.